All right. Hey guys, can you guys give me a signal, anyone, if you guys can hear, see me, and see the slides as well? Okay, cool, cool. Thanks, Gary. Alrighty, so let me start. Let me start by. So I'm going to give some constant pauses so you guys can ask me questions. I don't know if there's a moderator for the session who's monitoring the questions, but I'm going to pause every few slides to sort of take questions from you guys because I don't have access to the screen. If you guys ask questions in the chat. Okay, hey. So I'm Mithilesh Ramaswamy. Today I'll be presenting Shift Left with AI, how AI is changing the paradigm in cybersecurity. Right, a little bit about myself. I work for Microsoft as a senior security engineer. I've done so for the past 6+ years. I've got a master's in computer science in NYU and a bachelor's in computer science from VTU. Right, I graduated in the 2012 batch from NYU. So that's a little bit about me. And I've been in the security space the whole time, working on various projects. So let's start with the traditional security models, right? So the what you was there currently and what is there in a lot of institutions and enterprises is a very traditional security model where it's extremely reactive in the sense that things are only addressed after the fact. So if the username and the password or the user's identity is compromised, we have ways to lock it out. And it sort of happens. Another example when it comes to code is let's just assume like someone developing locally, testing in dev or prod environments, like puts in the username, password, or credentials in the code, right? It goes to prod, and at that time the cat's already out of the bag. So there is no concept of it's always reactive. So then they see access to the database or the code base from other IPs. It's already out there, so it's extremely reactive to the fact that the tools and the processes which were defined till now were always like, hey, if this happens, how do we lock it down? How do we kick the user out? How do we change the secrets? How do we rotate the secrets? How do we keep expirations for the secret? This is one of the weaknesses. It worked well at the time, and something which you guys also need to understand is when software is developed at scale, everyone does their best effort, and everyone sort of what I'd like to call is best at the time architecture. So everyone sort of works with what is the best knowledge and the best approach at that time, right? That is basically how software has evolved till date. The other thing is the siloed approach, right? It's when you sort of talk with this is true for a majority of the companies. Like if you see, like if you're talking about SMB 500 companies, right? What they want to do primarily is they want to drive shareholder value, business value. So for example, a healthcare provider, their primary concern is to provide healthcare for the patients, right? It's not to secure the patient data and everything. The traditional approach is security is like an afterthought, like these healthcare providers and all these even education institution and everything. They always think, okay, what is the value we are providing for customers? And to operate in these geolocations, we need to maintain this compliance and the security and everything. So it's always treated as a cost center. And it's always like what is seen as a separate concern. It's like, oh yeah, as long as we are sort of providing healthcare, security is a different concern. But that doesn't hold true for the world. Like if you can sort of, if you see the newspaper articles, you see data breaches every day. So that was previously and to a large part, even right now, it's hopefully changing. It's a very siloed approach where security is one issue and everything else, customer focus, like speed of delivery, quality of services, all these other siloed issues which a company works to deliver, right? And that's what sort of how security has been. The way I compare it is if you're building a building or an apartment, right? Your main concern is providing the facilities and like a place for people to live, like all these things. And security is just like added on. Okay, let's just keep build a security perimeter or fence. That's how I'd like to describe it. And traditionally, and going to the third point, it's always because it's seen as a cost center, it has conflicting priorities. So the budget every year for security is changes, and it's always like thin. So basically, like you have a security team for compliance and governance purposes, and that's pretty much about it. And people don't want to invest more because you the security is sort of paradoxical in the sense that if done right, mm, there are no incidents and people don't realize the value, right? It's hard to justify telling that, hey, we saved you $100 million because there's no incidents. It's hard to put a number to it. That's why what people and what IT professionals, the security professionals, are not able to quantify the value they bring in terms of raw numbers. That's a traditional security approach. In these slides, I'm going to touch on two things. One is shift left, what is the current trend in development, and the other one, I'm going to go to the zero trust model, which is overall architecture. So let me go to the next slide. Right? This is basically what we are doing is we and many other companies are doing, we are using AI tools to leverage shifting left. One of the examples I can give you is there are a lot of available tools, not just from my company, from so many other competitors and everything is we want to identify things before they happen. One of the things which there are a lot of tools, even publicly available tools and processes, which will not allow you to check in a password. It doesn't matter whether it's local host or anything. If you just see some of the, if you, anyone can pull up the numbers, GitHub had like a lot of exposed passwords, which mainly they're okay because people think they're about local development passwords to local dev databases or something like that. But it's hard for us to differentiate what is local and what is prod, and attackers love it in the sense that even if they get access to local stuff, it's great, right? They get to learn a lot. And we have tools, for example, what secret scan and other things which are publicly available, which identify these things before we set in. So if you're checking in a password, there are a couple of ways you're going to be blocked by the commit, or you're going to get an alert. So your manager or the team is going to tell, hey, this secret needs to be revoked, rotated. You guys checked in a secret in the config file. That's one aspect. The other aspect is dependencies in infrastructure. So we can use AI tools to sort of scan these large enterprise code bases at scale and detect things earlier proactively rather than for things to break or for like zero-day stuff or self stuff, different severity stuff to be detected and later on like run to put out a fire. The other thing which AI can help is with continuous monitoring in the software lifecycle. When you sort of take a very traditional approach, everything you need to accomplish as a business value needs a few line of code. With AI, what we are hoping to achieve is this continuous monitoring. Let's just assume a developer adds a library which is like outdated or which has known security issues. AI can quickly evaluate without us having to write more lines of code or integrating with more and more systems to give different type of detections. The primary benefit of AI is automation, right? Once you, right now, the maturity is questionable for AI. It's just coming up. Once all the processes which I described, like secret location, dependency scans, software, library versions, and all of these are detected, it's super easy to automate these and remediate this using artificial intelligence. Of course, everything comes with this remediations, but if done at scale, this is going to be massively cost efficient because you're freeing developer time to do main focus on business value, and the tools are taking over doing a lot of toil and automating stuff away from developers, which saves a lot of dev hours. I am going to pause right here before I go over the tools and different types of things. Do you guys have any questions? No, let's see here. Can you guys see the the chat when I sort of focus on the chat? Let me see here. Okay, great. So let me see how to get to the chat here. Mhm. Okay, there you go. Okay. So someone asked, how would you say smaller companies play into cybersecurity? Is it that the big companies dominate the space? That is not true in the sense that if you read books like The Innovator's Dilemma, and a bunch of other things, smaller companies have a edge when it comes to developing specialized tools for use cases. Big companies mainly are tending towards selling the infrastructure, right? It is impossible for a big company, for any big company, to cater to niches in all these other things. For example, one of my friends, which I was recently talking about, is working on AI for shipping docks, and I believe his company runs around 200 shipping ports or anything, and he wants to do things around, like, if a door is left open, an alert needs to be sent out. If what is this? Someone but comes too close to, like, a forklift in operation, alert. Right? It's hard for big companies to cater to all these niche use cases. So they have advantages in terms of market capitalization, but anyone who's creative and innovative, small or large, is going to win out at the end of the day. Right now, if you see, it's for a small company, even for you or me as an individual, which we are not companies, we are individuals, right? It is super easy to spin up resources. Everything is available. There are multiple free tiers and multiple companies, AWS, Microsoft, and everything. It's as long as you have a paying customer, and you are innovative and creative, and you drive value to these small companies, you are going to get customers at the end of the day. Right. I hope I answered the question, right? And that's the when I say that, that's same for the security space. Security is not just one size fits all, right? There are multiple things. For example, in the healthcare industry, which I just described, HIPAA compliance, right? That it's not security; it's more of compliance. But a lot of companies which are doing it better than a lot of the big players. Okay, so moving on to the next question. How would AI doing cybersecurity by automation affect the human demand for jobs? So there are people who are. So here is the thing. It is extremely hard to look into the future and make more forecasts. So what the analogy I would like to give is, which is widely used online, is before automobiles, right? The modern automobiles, there were people who were using transportation like horse-drawn carriages and other things run by cattle. Uh, just because automobiles came, it did not cause a mass unemployment of all the horses. The number of horses reduced, yes, I'm sure, but people who were previously running these, I believe, what horse transportation businesses, they were not out of jobs. They just had to drive value to society in some other way. Right now, the tools, I do not believe humans are doing a lot of the security stuff, like in the sense, when you push what is this secret to your code base, right? In the configuration file, there is actually no human who's sitting and reviewing it per se, like apart from the PR reviews, right? That happens anyways without AI tools. There are again processes and, right, regexes and other things. So this is just another tool to achieve more efficiency, not to mean that it's going to replace the artist itself. I hope that makes sense. Next, Zach. Right, I'm thinking about taking the cybersecurity route in the future for high school. What skills can I learn right now to benefit me? Okay, so let me get back to this, Zach. I'll go down to the ties, and we'll do. This is more of a broader conversation. I can start now, but it's going to take long. So let me get through the slides, and pretty much, I think we'll have. Can the staff answer if this is a half an hour presentation or a 1 hour presentation? Do you guys know? Anyone? Okay. Okay, so let me go through the slides. I'm going to give a healthy 20 to 30 minutes to answer these broad questions. I like that, by the way. The next question is, how much would proper cybersecurity protection cost for a startup? I'm guessing AI-powered security tools cost too much. I am not in a position to answer the cost. That is for someone who is probably I'm pretty sure there is like AI, what cost projections and other things, but I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not in a position to answer this question, so I just don't know how much it's going to cost, right? Okay. That being said, so let me put a note on Zach's conversation, because the reason I'm not taking it now is that it's a more long form conversation, right? I do not want to sort of give like a 2-minute answer and move on to the next one. Moving to the next slide. Now I'm going to resume to the slides, then I'm going to come back to the questions. Okay, let's pause the questions for now. You guys can type it in if you have any questions. Then I'm going to jump to it as soon as I film. Okay, so benefits of AI. I think I covered this in the previous things. What benefits of AI stuff is early detections and remediations, especially with shifting left, which sort of saves long run. You don't have to, if you just think about having things detected before they are used by attackers, you're going to save a lot in terms of liability, in terms of fixes, and in terms of when you can sort of mitigate. For example, if something breaks on a weekend, you don't have an option to, you need to jump on call and fix it. But if you do it in your own pace with rigor, you're good pushing out changes on a weekday, taking the weekend off. So that's reduced risk, reduced costs, and more peace of mind for everyone. And faster development life cycles with the tools used. If you guys have not used the tools, I'm going to sort of encourage, I'll encourage you guys to use a lot of these tools, play around with it, and see how they can help you to develop faster. There are tools to I'm sure Microsoft Copilot is the one I use. I'm pretty sure that other tools, online comparative tools online to sort of help you with the development speed, writing unit test cases. The other tool I can think about is Claude, right? Claude AI. And increased efficiency, of course, is another collateral. I think I skipped one of the slides, or did I? Yeah, the AI-powered security tool. So there are a couple of tools which the industry likes to classify them as. I do not believe this is like there's any hard and fast definition for each one of the rules. One of the static application security testing is tools which can analyze code, right? That's secret detection or connection strings and other things are a good example for this. Software versions, software composition analysis are again like basically they go out if you have a dependency from you have a dependency from an open source package, and open source package I'm pretty sure a lot of guys use for like a lot of things like calendar, daytime utils, string utils, a bunch of them, right? But they can help identify, manage. So every time something is detected, the tool can go proactively tell, hey, this is used in XYZ places in your code. And it will help you sort of classify how much your risk exposure is from using the tool. And the training part is what is this? The application testing is something which is also going on. Like AI is pretty good. If you see, there's a lot of AI, adversarial AI, which is sort of used to test your application, test various permutations and combinations. Like they're similar to other other security tools with the AI spin in the sense that it has models and statistical analysis which sort of help test your application. So there are various tools to help in various different phases of the software development. I believe I covered this. Okay, so this I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to give around 20 minutes. 25 minutes almost to questions, and if you guys run out of questions or the conversation gets stale and boring, we can skip, right? Okay, so the other so this till now I talked about shift left, move using AI to shift the detection. When I say shift left, imagine developers what are in the left, they are writing the code, and it goes to production pipelines, which are more towards the right, and the customer is using it towards the one end of the spectrum, right? That's when I say shift left, it is moving detections further down the pipeline towards the developers when code is being checked in to help with security. The latest and greatest in security is the zero trust architecture. If you guys who are in professionals, you should be aware. People who are early in career, you guys will greatly benefit from zero trust architectures. Zero trust is not a product. It's not owned by a company. It's not a service. where anyone can just buy it, integrate it into a system. Zero trust is an architecture and a thinking mindset which is uh, changing to the what moving security target. For example, how I can sort of tell you is the traditional security approach was mainly based on perimeter security, right? In the sense that imagine a company is like, hey, as long as we define the IP rules and our network is safe, we are good. No one can get in. We are good. It's sort of thought the higher we build the walls, the more secure our application is. And one of the examples I'd like to trust is, let's assume you see one of your colleagues in your office every day, you trust them, right? But you do not know if what they're no longer an employee. You just see their badge, and they're here to sort of take some of their old documents, which is super important to the company and competitors, right? You just keep on trusting them, and uh, this is basically what the traditional model does, right? It's like as long as a user has a username and a password, that the user is the user who he says, we are going to trust all the actions. We have this firewall protecting us. We don't care what happens with the firewall. So that's basically building perimeters. That was a traditional security model. With zero trust is basically it's always force the user to verify themselves and put these checks in every step of the process, ra rather than trusting just because an IP is coming from a known IP range within our network, it's trusted. So every step of the process where an interaction or this one is initiated, we always need to trust and verify. That is the new paradigm in or the new trend in the industry. And why it matters is basically whatever I just spoke, right? Previously we always thought threats are always outside. Like when you're in a company, it's always outside, someone else is attacking you. That's not true, because right now the workspace is spread, it's hybrid, people are working from home, people have used a diverse set of hardware, routers, internet providers. Insane, right? The diversity is insane. So you cannot rely on setting up walls because there is no clear boundary. Previously you had VPNs and everything. That's and you could set up a perimeter largely because you were using like this office desktop. I guess you could set up, but now it's all over the place, all across the globe, and a huge diversity of hardware and software. Right. That's one of the things why we are moving towards zero trust. The other thing, a core philosophy is the always trust but verify, and the other one is minimizing. It's basically least privilege. It's basically as on your basis. So usually, like if you need systems A, B, and C to do your job, and you don't need X, Y, Z, you're only given access to A, B, C. So you are always given least privilege. This is the fundamental concept of RBAC applications, and basically it's provided by a trust broker, right? Entra ID is one of the trust brokers. I'm only familiar with it. I'm not advocating for Microsoft products. I tell Microsoft products because I use them, right? So that's, you need to use like a trust broker or like a role-based authentication to make sure the person who's accessing something has the role or the authorization to access the resource. That's one of the core principles of zero trust. And I'll just cover one of these, whatever the various institutions have defined various key pillars of zero trust. One is continuous verification. I just covered, like people need to be continuously verified. The other one is least privilege access, which I just described. Microsegmentation is basically a concept where lateral movement, let me explain what lateral movement is, right? So once, because all these companies have this huge firewall, right? No one cares if, let's just assume a nation state actor just comes and plugs in a malware device or something into one of the exposed Ethernet ports, or just manages to get the Wi-Fi credentials and has like a node sitting somewhere, right? Once they are in and the IP is from the company, previously they would not verify further than that. Right now, every system needs to be micro-segmented in the sense that every little system needs to verify the access. It's not just the IP; it's also like the user credentials, the device key, and the device signature. A bunch of other things needs to be verified at every step of the way. The other thing is encrypt everything. This is both encryption and transit, and mainly covers encryption and rest. Always monitor is the other core pillar. It's like things need to be proactively monitored. Doesn't matter that the user everything checks out at today. That is like for you guys. That's I guess 2:30 EST. It we just need to keep verifying, monitoring, looking out for anomalies and other things continuously. Security is not like, oh yeah, he's verified, the device is good now. You don't go with the assumption that it's always going to be good, it's always going to be healthy. They're not going to install a new software which has security gaps, right? That's another core pillar. I guess these are the 5 pillars. Moving on to the benefits of zero trust security, this is a little redundant compared to the other slides, but this is just to compare and contrast. Right, one improved security, that's what I told, and enhanced compliance. So when you sort of go with micro segmentation, you get the opportunity to sort of put things which come under regulatory and compliance scrutiny into certain segments and handle it better rather than trying to solve the whole problem of everything, right? The other great main advantage with the hybrid work model is supports remote work. So, for example, I am giving you guys a presentation. There's a pretty good flow of information. It supports remote work, and I'm pretty sure I know some companies do back to office and everything, but remote work is still a core part of the society going forward. Yeah, the other thing, back into compliance, simplifies audit. When you sort of go micro segmentation, put all the things which matter in a specific way into a specific component or a segment, it's easier to do audits. Cost savings, and cost savings is again definitely there, especially because you cannot afford to lose information of customers, your employees, to adversaries. So that's always there. Now moving to these are just the references I've used just to keep everything up the board. These are all the references which I've used to come up with the slides, and this is the slide. This is a website. I guess they wanted me to add the template I used from the website as attribution, so I've just put it here. So now I'm open to questions. Let me jump and take all the questions. So let me take Zach's question first. And you guys feel free to type away, right? And we can sort of handle it there. Okay. Zach's first question. Okay. So thinking about taking the cybersecurity route in the future after high school, what skills can I learn right now should benefit me from the... Okay. That's a great question, and it's going to be a long form answer. So let me turn around it back to you guys. Can you guys sort of tell me what trends do you guys see in your daily usage? So I'm not talking about cybersecurity, right? What are the products which you guys are using more of late? Can anyone answer? You guys can tape it out or even tell. Okay, that's great. Himnesh, yeah. Okay, so Sash, sure. Let's shift to not just your work or education, in real life, guys. Like day to day, like your groceries, everything. What are the tools you guys are adopting more and more? That's a good thing. All right, my car. All right. So basically, you guys are using ChatGPT, right? So the question, I think I like to quote Steve Jobs here. It's not where the puck is; it's where the puck is going to be, right? So Reed called out my phone. So when you sort of see all of this, I can just come up with large trending areas. The first ChatGPT is AI, right? And AI, there are two things about AI: securing the AI itself and using AI as a tool for security. And SaaS applications, the security applications there are intense, right? My car, that would probably count for Internet of Things, because usually you have like a lightweight node running even in your Tesla car or any other car. You have like CarPlay and all these other things, right? So there's a lot of security concern when it comes to one of the things which I can think about is exporting the contacts to the car as soon as you get into the car, right? What is the Internet of Things? So I'm going to get back to this. And my phone, and that is another thing. Phone is another huge area. That is device security, and that is another huge area. So to answer Zach's question, as long as yes, there are going to be security applications and products which are going to be securing all of the things you guys put, right? Yes, cybersecurity will play a critical role in all of the things when I said. So when Zach asked me that, hey, is it a what areas, uh, what can you learn right now? I would say two things. One is the fundamentals of computer science, the fundamentals of AI and the trends on how where it's going. And AI is changing very fast. You guys cannot go wrong picking up skills around AI and machine learning. And though that would be my answer. So fundamentals of everything. And I would also ask you guys, one of the critical skills you can pick up is being curious about a lot of things, right? Being curious, looking at all the open source projects out there. It is going to help you, from my experience, twofold, right? When you start contributing to open source project, it's going to increase your visibility. It's going to build up your profile for potential employers. And two, you're also, when you start contributing, you're going to interface with the people who are working on similar projects or projects of your interest, and you're going to grow your network, and you're going to discover your passions. And those are the things which I would focus on at for early career folks. Um, Okay, now moving on to the next question. How much? Okay, I think I answered this. Zach has another question. What role does machine learning and behavioral analysis play in zero trust, more specifically, like detecting abnormal behavior patterns? Okay, that's a good question. That's a more specific question. One, okay, you asked machine learning and behavior thing. Machine learning again is a tool to so you've been given this huge data set, and you need to use machine learning to extract meaningful relationships of the data set and correlations of the data set, right? And that is a tool, right? And the tool plays exactly the role. It gives us signals, and we still need to refine the tool, keep on continuously improving it to get better and better signals. uh, Now, the other question is behavior analytics. That is a whole different field, which is basically, you can, I think there is overlap of human behavior models and other things. But I'm pretty sure you can build in rules. So basically, let's just assume, right? I'm a software engineer. I've been tasked with incorporating behavior analytic tools. So how it works in enterprise software is, you as a software engineer don't need to come and define the behaviors. There are data science groups or people who are trained to extract metrics out. For example, someone usually works, I'm just coming up with an example, it's not a real example, right? In EST, right? So usually they wake up, they log in mornings 8 to 10 a.m. and they log out like 4 to 6 p.m., right? What if there is like this anomalous login at 3 a.m., right? That would be like, hey, this usually doesn't do that. But some people might actually, I like working pretty late. I don't log in at 3 a.m., but seeing logins from me at 2 a.m. is not unheard of, right? So how you will be done is, these teams will give you requirements to integrate that into your system. And the teams, like, let's just assume they implemented this thing and they get a lot of false positives, and this, the employee like myself, is logging in at 2 a.m. and the system is flagging me as anonymous behavior, right? They need to again go and improve the signal back to tell, hey, if there's a pattern of this person who's also logging in outside work hours, like, make it like a green signal and not a red signal, right? So there are teams which come up with these things, which define the rules, and you need to integrate the rules, and the team themselves are constantly improving the rules. So there are two different things in your question, Zach, so I hope I answered them. Okay, now Ritvik asks, oh, what's the best advice for a high school student who wants to succeed? Oh man, okay, that's a heavy question. The best advice I could give personally is uh, e- driving value to someone, right? That two things, right? If you just see at the end of the day, uh, when you sort of create systems which give value, you have to train yourself to the mindset of learning skills. Invest, first of all, okay, the high school student, let me break it down. Invest in yourself, right? I know there are a lot of things out there which like what is this get rich quick. I don't want to call like this, like all these things, right, where you can do this and get this edge of it and everything. But statistically, it's like winning the Powerball. Some people are going to make it. They are going to be the loudest that they made it, and they're going to get more revenue telling that, hey, I did this one shortcut trick and I got that asymmetrical outcome, right? One for a high schooler, one, invest in yourself, and the other one is at a high school level, you guys, failure is an acceptable outcome, and you guys need to learn to fail fast, move on to the next thing, right? And you guys need to see those are the two things I could give you. One is invest in yourself and fail fast. Those are the two advices I can give you. I have been part of multiple startups and everything. Most of them have failed. Some of them have seen some degree of success, but that's what I'm going to be telling you guys for high school people. The last thing if I could add is, at a high school level, you guys need to read a lot of books. Some of the books is my favorite of all time is the Steve Jobs biography, and one by Jeff Bezos, Invent and Wander, right? To stay curious, to explore a lot of things, even if it's not within your comfort zone, and see how you can apply software engineering or cybersecurity to drive value in that field. It could be anything, like, for example, phone or car, how to secure it more, what value can you get, drive customers, what are the current pain points. Those are the three things I would give advice to high school students to succeed. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you guys are attending these conferences and doing this, you guys are on the right track. Okay. Now, Internet of Things. Okay, Internet of Things is basically are all the smart devices, right? Previously, if you just take a step back, what is this? I'm sorry, I forgot the name. That would be Navin. If you just say that the only one thing was connected to the internet, that was your PC, right? Right now, everything wants to be connected to the internet. It could be your doorbell, if you have like a camera which is giving you alerts on who walked in. It could be your watch, your refrigerator, probably. A bunch of things want to be connected to your internet, right? Internet of Things is just that. It is internet for things, IoT, and one of the core things is it's not a full-fledged PC with like a heavy RAM, a CPU, and storage. It's a more lightweight device which needs to connect to the internet. It could be like a temperature monitor in your room. It could be a light which you can control with Wi-Fi. Everything kind of falls into that. And you should just look it up if you're curious. There are a lot of videos, but that's what basically my understanding of Internet of Things are. Okay. Attendees fill this out. Okay. Tevin, I have contributed to NumPy. I do not know what NumPy is. If you can tell, I can sort of comment on that. Robbie says, I'm in high school. I've been studying cybersecurity, AI, computer science. Great. I have certifications project. However, I'm struggling to get opportunities to get real experience. I've had no luck with internships. Any advice? Okay. The only thing I can tell you is, if you guys find, for my company, there is careers.microsoft.com or jobs. You can just Google it. If you guys find anything, let me know. I can act as a reference within Microsoft. The best way to connect with me is through LinkedIn. My link is right there. You can look me up. That is something. The only thing which is going to sound repetitive probably for you, Ravi, is keep trying. And when I say keep trying, I'm not trying to just brush it off giving this. So keep trying. Yeah, everyone can say keep trying. When I say keep trying, is keep trying with basically take a very engineering approach. And so you tell me you like all of this, right? Solve this problem like how an engineer would solve this problem, right? So try approach here, try cold emailing people, right? If it doesn't work, change something about it. Maybe start contributing to more open source projects, and then start. And if your PRs are accepted, reviewed, start reaching out to them to see if you can sort of contribute to that, and build yourself up, invest in yourself, and those are the things. So my approach: take an engineering approach to it. basically A/B testing approach, right? You try something, if it doesn't work, slightly improve, try another thing. So that is the only hopefully tangible advice. It's not just keep trying, but keep trying, changing, see what the trends are, learn the skill, and keep approaching. I'm pretty sure everyone is going to end up in a better place in a few years. And just to give some anecdotal evidence, right out of college, I was one of the first people to get. I'm from India. It's one of the in VTU from Bangalore, right? One of the first companies which came to my college was Keen Character, and I was one of the first people in my class to get a job offer. It was a pretty good job offer. I graduate in 2008, I believe, 2008, 2009. I graduated in 2009. I had gotten an offer 1 year before from Keen Character for a pretty high amount. That company shut down, right? That company was bankrupt. It was no longer there. I just kept calling them. I had an offer letter and had no joining date, right? Then things changed. I kept trying and eventually got a lot of jobs. But that's only one anecdotal evidence I can give you from my life, from my life, telling that yeah, I went through a lot of hard times too, and things are going to work out. So yeah, keep trying. Okay, let's see what is this. One of the favorite books, and it's a self promo. That's fine. Uh, okay, parts of 50 most into influential. Yeah, guys. Tejas, I guess, has what given you a link. You guys can check it out. Okay, so we any more questions? And we have 10 minutes. It's a AMA, so feel free to ask me anything. Okay, all right. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure to sort of talk to you guys too. What uh, it? I mean, everyone